guys, welcome to TCW. This is Debanshi here. I head the digital marketing space at the Codework. So we have come up with this new series by the name of Artbook, which is going to be related to marketing and design. I genuinely hope that you like it because the digital space is growing at a rapid pace and we all need to stay updated. The best way to do that is by adding value to each other, and that's what we are doing here. So, the first topic that we have come up with is tips and tricks to succeed as a digital creative in 2021. So, let's just get on with it, right? But hey, before we move ahead, if you don't belong to the marketing team or if you're not a designer, then we have options for you, okay? You can go around and have a look at our timeline, and you will find videos on the fundamentals of a minimum viable product, which is explained by our very own co founder, Kaushik. And also, there's this tech savvy series by the name of Code of Duty, and you get it right. So it's basically related to everything related to tech, and the first episode consists of the topic hybrid versus native, which is explained by Amruta, our app developer. So you can just go around and have a look at those. And in the meantime, my fellow designer friends and people from the marketing team, you can move ahead with me and we can just get around and along with the video, shall we? Now, as a matter of fact, the design industry has become like a living organism. It's continuously evolving and growing. And to keep up with that, you need to keep adding to your set of skills and knowledge that is required to stay in this industry. And I wouldn't say thanks to the lockdown, but we can't deny the fact that the lockdown has enabled us to spend some time for ourselves, dedicate some of our time to our creativity, and not just work as a process, as a duty. So basically in this video I will be talking about what I learned in the past year, and it's still, sadly it's continuing, the situation sadly is continuing, but then again there's always a silver lining. I'm not saying that in a very happy kind of a way, but you can't deny that there is always a silver lining. And in this situation, the silver lining is the fact that we could use the time, we can still use the time to add to our skills and grow. So let's just begin. You will understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's talk about the table of contents, actually the board of contents. So we are going to discuss about using new tools, being consistent, not taking it personally, which is actually very personal. Irony, I know. Time management or management skills of any sort, actually. Evaluating your own work, which is important. Staying updated, online portfolio, user psychology, and exploring art spaces. We'll talk about each of these in detail, so don't worry. Let's just get into it. Okay, so the first topic is using new tools. Now, this one is really interesting. I'm excited to share. Okay, see, so as you can see, this is my house, and on the left hand side, it is my life before lockdown. Life as in related to design. Okay, so life before lockdown, and on the right hand side is my life after lockdown. So basically, before lockdown, when I graduated as a graphic designer, these are the three tools that I used religiously, especially Photoshop. Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. InDesign, not much, but I'm just putting it here because I know the use of it. Photoshop used to be my guardian angel. I used to go to Photoshop for anything and everything. It was like Photoshop is an all-round. I don't need to know anything else. You can make GIFs on Photoshop. You can do everything, right? It's almost like that. But then I started exploring Illustrator a lot, and I saw that maybe, though all the Adobe tools may seem somewhat same or similar, there are, the unique points of each one of it, which is obvious, but maybe I wasn't too mature to realize that at that point of time. So anyway, after the lockdown happened, there was plenty of time, and all of us wasted time on binge watching and memes basically. But then again, even after doing all that, there was time left to work on yourself, and that is the time which revolutionized everything. I started fidgeting with Adobe tools, and I got to learn the use of Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Animate, XD, and now what the basic advantage of knowing so many tools is that you can navigate between each of these tools and create something using all of them, and that output is something that is not familiar to any specific platform, right? Now there is this thing, there are a lot of shortcuts available right now. There are there are free websites where you can actually create stuff without knowing the use of any of these tools, which is great. Of course it is great, but then again, if you are really interested in design, and if you're a designer, if you you know any of the Adobe apps, and like you are interested in it, then I would personally suggest you to keep exploring. I know the free websites are have lucrative designs which seem very glossy and ready to use, and it's actually saving a lot of time. But is it really? After a point of time, you are going to reuse the same templates and same tools and everything. But why not explore your own ideas if you are a designer yourself? That is the first thing you need to ask yourself. You will grow through this, you will grow through your bad designs. Keep exploring the softwares. Maybe you will come up with something that in future you can sell to these websites, yeah, I'm being very ambitious, over ambitious, but why not? It's okay, right? Okay, so the next topic is about being consistent. That's a problem, I know, but you need to be. Let's talk about it. Okay, so this is really important. If you're not creating something every day, then it may eventually lead to a creative block, which is something you don't want. Trust me, it disrupts your quality of work, it disrupts your ideas, your ability to think of cool stuff which you can incorporate in your design, or make anything that is innovative. So if you create something every day, and trust me, it doesn't have to relate to your work, it needs to be related to you. Anything will do. It can be a small comic, it can be a stick figure, it can be a stick figure doing several actions, it can be doodles, it can be anything that you find on art spaces. Anything, you don't have to complete the work that day itself, but try being attached to it, try adding to an incomplete work every day. And also there's this cliche advice that I'm going to give right now, and that is, try not to work on projects that you are not really interested in. For beginners, I know it's very important to gain experience, and you really can't be out there and judging every project by your interest in it. But after some point of time, after you think maybe you can afford to choose the projects that you are interested in, try doing that. Because once you do that, if you start working on projects that you love and that you actually want to work in, then it will add to your creativity. But if you do the opposite, it will just lead to burnout. And why do that? We are designers and we are here to have fun with the work that we are doing, right? So let's not forget that. I know it's like there's this huge competition around, and you can't really ignore projects that come up to you. But then again, it's the same reason, competition. It is the same reason that you can't afford to burn yourself out, or afford to lead yourself to the path of a creative block. Are you getting what I'm saying? So anyway, that's totally your call about choosing projects, but please try to create something each day. So the next topic is about not taking it personally, and it's a very personal issue to me. Trust me, when I just began, I was really suffering from it. Let's just talk about it, and even you will understand if you relate to it. Okay, so it's about not getting too attached to your design. Being attached is very common, very natural, because you're creating something from a scratch. But then again, your attachment shouldn't be of the level where you can't take criticism from people, right? Because once again, I'll just go ahead and say this: there is always room for improvement, no matter how great you are, and you need to get that inside your head. So, now there's a catch here. There are types of people from whom criticism is coming. Now, you need to understand whose criticism matters and whose doesn't. So, how will you do that? First of all, try and check out the person who is criticizing your work. Keep a track of what kind of designs they like, what is their taste. If their taste is really aesthetic, then I think there is some problem with your design, and you need to elevate to that level where you will get a validation from this person. But there are people whose taste is not that great, so maybe you can ignore that criticism from those people. But then again, don't be very proud about it. You can just listen to what they are saying, judge your work, and then think if you need to work on it or if it's okay the way it is. That's all. Just don't go cribbing and ranting about people criticizing your work. Trust me, people are seeing a lot of projects all at once in the digital space, and no matter how great your work is, there will always be someone or the other who will come up and say, hey, you know what, your work can be better. Hey, you know what, this color is not going with the background. There's always comments. There are good comments, there are bad comments, there are comments that help you grow. So just stay in there and keep adding to your to your skills, to your knowledge, to your expertise, everything. Just keep absorbing everything that is coming towards you, and churn it inside your head and come up with something that gets a lot of social validation the next time. Okay, that's just the way through it, not taking it personally. Okay, so the next topic that we are about to discuss is time management. And time management is just for the name of it, it's about management of any sort. Let's just get into it. So, time management is basically about adjusting your time so that you can work on your projects, your personal projects that add to your creativity, and you get time obviously for the work of clients or any professional work that you're related to. Now, the thing is, there's this difference why I'm counting these two work as separate, and I'm adding the word creativity only to the personal project. The thing is, when you're creating something for the client, there is a lot of interference which is very valid from that other party, right? So what is happening is you are not really getting to use your ideas to the wholesome level, right? So this is the reason why you need to have management skills, and you need to divide your time where you can add to your work, your ideas, your space, your creative space. This is in direct relation to the topic of being consistent when I was talking about creating every day. So that is about it. Just divide your day, divide your time, and try to understand the difference between what you do for yourself and what you are doing uh, as a part of the industry. Okay, that's all I have for this segment. So the next topic is directly related to being consistent and not taking it personally, and also time management. So all these three have this evaluating yourself and your work as a output, you know let's talk about it. You need to understand you need to comprehend the basic ups and downs that you have while you're designing your strong points, which can always be made better. If you're like, if there are specific set of points which are your strength, then why not work on it and come up with your own very own format and style in design based on those strong points. And with weak points, you can just start working on it. And if you see that it's not going anywhere, I'm not saying give up, but there's always priorities, right? So why not prioritize your strong points and start building your format and style on that. So that is the reason why evaluating your own work is important. Like at times there are, it happens with me when I just made something and for fun I sent it to my friends and I know it's not good, but they love it. But this is the same situation where you need to understand that just because they love it, it doesn't make your work nice. You need to understand that it was not your level, or it wasn't the level that you were aspiring it to be. So that's where evaluation comes in. It's not like all the comments and all the judgments will always be right. Okay, it can be good, it can be bad, but then again, at the end of the day, your personal evaluation matters the most, because at the end of the day, it's your style, it's your format. Just come up with it. That's all. Okay, so the next topic is about staying updated. Basically, it's about following trends, but there's a lot to it. It's following trends are not that easy. So let's talk a bit about it, okay? Now, it's fun to follow trends. Trends are here to stay. The basic format of trends is here to stay, but we need to understand that particular trends are here. They stay for some time and then they go. They are basically temporary fun elements that are added to social media to spark some kind of fun to the whole platform. Now the thing is, it's good to follow trends. It's good to be a part of what the people out there want to see and want to love doing. But then again, don't really get attached to any specific trend. Your style, your format should not get into the bracket of any trend, because, as I said, that particular trend may just evaporate after some point of time. Then what will happen to your style and format? Dip your toe in the fun side of social media, but then again, let's not make it a habit. That's all. Online portfolio. Now, please don't judge around this and think, oh, yeah, we know it's important to have an online portfolio and all. No, no, no. I'm not talking about the importance of having an online portfolio to add to your work when it comes to applying for jobs. Okay, I want to share my experience about having an online portfolio which helped me grow as a designer. So, let's just get into it. The fact is, okay, so here I have mentioned two online portfolio sites like Dribble and Behance. Behance is like I have my personal portfolio on Behance, and I am there on Dribble, but I usually visit it for inspiration. So let's just talk about Behance first, okay? So when I graduated from design school, I was very I counted myself as a designer, and just because I had the certificate, I knew I'm a designer. I went ahead and created a portfolio on Behance, and I was very confident and everything, and I loved what I created that time. But soon I started fidgeting with Behance, all the other segments on the site, and I realized, oh my god, I really need to grow. I can't count myself as a beginner as of yet. Maybe I'm still learning and I have a lot to learn to count myself as a beginner also. So, I was I don't want to be secretive about it, but I was very demotivated in the beginning. I thought maybe my work was not going to get a bit of appreciation or attention even. So that is the time I started working harder to on my designs, to just to put it up on my portfolio and get people to look at it and drop comments. No matter how bad or good it is, I really didn't care at that point of time. I just wanted the design experts to come and see my work and talk to me and help me grow, as a community, as a part of this great community. So yeah, Behance is really like an inspiration for me personally. I'm very attached to the site because it really helped me grow. I didn't really know my standard before I joined Behance, and like I won't say I'm very expert now. Obviously, I'm not. Obviously not. But yeah, it helps me add to my ideas and add to my growth, and it helps me fight and strive to get better day by day. So having an online portfolio is good for that. And also the digital space that you are dealing with, people from different globally distributed locations can come and see your work, and it's really inspiring, and it's really a big thing when you see notifications that say that people are saving your work. Like, ooh, now I am inspiring people. That's great, right? So yeah, it's about that little points of inspiration that you get through the platform, even if people are not commenting or liking your post, that tiny notifications that say people are saving your work, even that matters the most, I think. And that's it, just try it, and I guess you will love it. The community is awesome there. And with Dribble, same with Dribble, the Dribble is basically, for me, it's a site where I go for inspiration, and it's beautiful. And like everything on Dribble, like even the blogs are beautiful, and it just helps you grow. Everything about online portfolio, besides the fact that they like they are a great addition when you are applying for jobs. It's really good. If you leave out that corporate part for a bit, it's really good for you yourself as a creator, as a digital creator. That's all I had to say. It's maybe it's a lot, but this is a very important like segment, trust me. That's that. Okay, so user psychology. Now, psychology is a very thrilling subject in all platforms, right? But what is user psychology? It's basically about, it's about the people for whom you are designing, right? You want see, obviously we design for ourselves, and that's a personal space. Now that space is not really concerned when we are talking about user psychology. User psychology is when you are creating for people, when you are creating for clients, and when you are creating for social validation also, right? Let's just get into it. So it's a very pretty diagram here. Anyway, so yeah, what is user psychology? It's basically about understanding what people want and need and expect from your design, right? You can't make a very colorful illustration when you are presenting it to a medical team, or a very corporate sector who are not uh, dealing with anything related to design. Or you can't create something very sober for a kids illustration book. So this is where the psychology, user experience, and also common sense comes in. So basically, when you are designing anything for people or clients, you need to ask yourself, is it possible to integrate aesthetics with functionality of the product that you're designing? If yes, then it's great. You don't have to think about anything else. You just go along with it. But if it's not possible to, the topic, the subject that you are working on, if it's too what to say, it's too grim, or it doesn't match your personality of design, then that is the moment where the user psychology and the whole knowledge about user psychology needs to step in. Okay, that, like, if you are designing for other people, then they need to have somewhat their feelings and their emotions need to have a validation in it. It's not entirely an like, it's not entirely your project. It belongs to them as much as it belongs to you. So user psychology is really important when you're dealing with the public, and when you are putting your work out there for social validation. No matter how mature we try to act about not needing validation when it comes to, like, my work or my designs, we if we are putting something on the social platform, come on, you can't deny it, we are putting it out for validation. And let's just agree with the fact that validation feels nice. Okay, it boosts your ego. uh, I'm not saying you should entirely depend upon it, but then again, validation is important in all sorts of in all sorts of activities. So the same is with design, and user psychology is really important when we are dealing with clients. That's that. Exploring art spaces. Okay, so this is undoubtedly one of my most favorite activities these days. It actually began from last year, and I'm still addicted to it. Let's be very honest about it. The more you explore, the more things you register inside your subconscious mind, and when you finally sit to design, everything just adds up and you get to make something out of every tiny chunk of creative that you have collected from all these platforms. So why not go ahead with it? Maybe you will come up with something that no one has ever come up with, some unique style, something that other people may get inspired from. So why not give it a shot? Just try it. It's really addictive. I'm sure once you try it, once you get to the flow, there's no stopping you. So yeah, just keep exploring. That's anyway the motive of life. So get it to designing as well. Hey, you know what? I have something really exciting to share about exploring art spaces. So, apart from all the goodies that I just talked about, I have this friend who graduated as a 3D artist. Okay, but she was basically exploring all the art spaces like we usually do in our community, and she was very attracted to illustration, and she just randomly started doing it. She started illustrating 2D illustrations, basic pen tab and illustrator. She just started drawing, and she has started thriving in that field. So that's really interesting, that's really inspiring, and I don't know if you have found out your style yet, but I'm pretty sure that if you keep exploring art spaces, you will soon. So that's it. We're done with this video. It was all about sharing personal stories and tips and tricks that helped me grow personally. And I hope you do try some of these and tell us in the comment section below if any of it worked for you. And tell us, you are really welcome to tell us even if it didn't work for you. Everything is welcome. Anyway, if you have anything to share with us as a community, as a designer, do that as well. Okay, we do this right as a community. We can do this for each other, and I hope you genuinely liked it. If you're here till now, so please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We will be coming up with these videos very like every other week, and if you are not a designer, once again I'm addressing you people, if you're not a designer and do not belong to the marketing team, then do check out our series on MVP and the Code of Beauty, which is totally related to tech, right? We have everything for you. Just stay here. We will grow together. So that's it. Like, share, and subscribe once again. Thank you for watching.